Time now for business. Emmanuel Abuajiri is here. Hello, Emmanuel.
Hi, Aisha. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Some bad news.
Some bad news for Ghana because the country has dropped 6 places down, to 13th position as of the, ABSA Financial Markets Index.
That's not good.
That's not too good.
Take it away.
All right. Many thanks for joining me. Thank you, and welcome to business. The country witnessed some significant decline in the 2019 ABSA Africa Financial Markets Index. Ghana came down by 6 places to 13th out of 20 countries reviewed in the index. The report released on in Washington, D.C. showed that the decline was due to what the authors are describing as low wholesale foreign exchange market turnover in the country. The report reviews the financial markets of all these countries and the necessary regulatory reforms. Joy Business's George Wiafe has been engaging head of global markets at ABSA, George Asante, in this report.
So I wouldn't say there is a problem. I think what we need to look at is really the steps that Ghana has taken in developing its financial markets, and to also recognize that just by other people performing much better than you drop. Right, so it may not just necessarily be that Ghana is deteriorating, but the fact that other African countries within the African proposition are actually moving at a faster pace than Ghana. But having said that, I think you also need to look at the individual pillars and how the country is performing. If you look at the individual pillars, you realize that Ghana actually shot up on the first pillar, which talks about market depth. We talk about liquidity of instruments that are issued on the stock exchange, and also liquidity of instruments that are issued by the government through the central bank. And that tells you that there is a lot of activity between the central bank, between market participants, to really ensure that the bond market is liquid. If anyone buys a bond today and they want to sell tomorrow, it's much easier to do that. So there is a lot of action and initiative that have actually been executed. Then there are other pillars as well. For example, the capacity of local investors, where Ghana was actually one of the highest risers, which also goes to talk to the fact that pension fund assets are being allocated to the right sectors and value is being created out of it. And you could attribute part of that development to some previous regulations and laws that were passed to deregulate or to liberalize that sector. So you need to not look at just the drop in ranking, but you need to look at the individual pillars and what is happening within the pillars.
You raised issues about FX, right?
So yes, FX, I think it is not a secret. The central bank itself has rightfully acknowledged that the issue of low liquidity on the interbank market is something that they are seeking to address. And then there is also the issue of a very big concentration of our local currency instrument owned by foreign investors.
Away from that, EcoBank Ghana is deepening its collaboration with the Multimedia Group to improve the bank's financial inclusion agenda through its digital platform. The bank on Friday paid a courtesy call on the management of Multimedia to outline plans for the agenda next year. Regional Head of Communication and Marketing at EcoBank Ghana, Rita Chega, reiterated the important role Multimedia plays in driving key initiatives. Here's more in this report.
EcoBank says it recognizes the work of Multimedia Group through its various platforms in disseminating information to the people, hence the need for the collaboration to build a more vibrant agenda. Regional Head of Communication and Marketing at EcoBank, Rita Chega, reiterated the importance of multimedia channels in championing important initiatives such as the financial inclusion agenda and fighting against non-communicable diseases in communities where EcoBank operates.
For EcoBank, there's always been a lot of interest around financial inclusion, which for us is a key agenda, and very recently non-communicable diseases as well. And we find in you a very apt partner, and you've helped us to send a lot of the information down, and for that we're quite grateful. We also felt that, even on our business side, you continue to do business with us. Your account continues to remain active, which again is very nice. So then it shows that we have a very symbiotic relationship. It is not lopsided. at all.
Other initiatives the bank introduced to the group is the war against non-communicable diseases, which the bank is embarking on as part of its corporate social responsibility. Chief Operations Officer of Multimedia in charge of radio and digital media, Ken Ansah, expressed gratitude to the bank for the growing business relationship and commitment of both parties to support each other's business.
We've been having this business relationship with you for years, and we are happy that we see it growing year on year. And when we say growing, we are not necessarily talking about revenues. We are talking about the depth of the relationship, all the way from the MD, your MD, and all the key people in the bank, and even beyond the bank itself and into other things that you do. So it's good to have you come down to see us and to have this conversation. And as I said, we also value it, so we felt, look, all our key people who are in this system and in the process of serving you should also be here. So whatever you tell us, we can all, listen at a go and take it from.
The team from EcoBank included the Regional Head of Marketing and Communications, Rita Chega, Daniel Kasati, and Ethel Adama of the Communication Department of EcoBank Ghana.
Now, companies will now be required to disclose the beneficial owners of the institutions following the decoupling of the Registrar of Companies from the Registrar General's Department. The decoupling under the New Companies Act is expected to facilitate business operations and improve quality of service. There's more in this report.
Under the old companies law, the Registrar General's Department was responsible for the registration of companies, business names, marriages, adoptions and property rights, among others. This was deemed as overwhelming and affected the quality of service of the institution. However, with the separation, the Registrar of Companies will now focus solely on the registration and other needs of businesses. Constance Adumatechi is the head of communications at the Registrar General's Department.
We'll be able to, if we say we are doing registration within 2 days or 3 days, we will have to stick to those timelines and all that. And with that one too, the business people themselves or the companies, directors and all those things, their responsibilities and their obligations, they will now, now you can't just appoint anybody as a company secretary. There are also things that they will have to do. The directors, their roles and all those things will have to be strengthened. So we'll have a more, and another important or exciting aspect of it is that there's the issue of inclusion of beneficial ownership, where now companies will have to disclose who the actual owners or who are the beneficial owners of a particular company. So it's going to provide transparency, it's going to provide efficiency.
The head of communications for the Registrar General's Department also added the process of decoupling will be completed within a 2-year time frame.
The Act says that we are to, the implementation is supposed to take effect 2 years after. Right now, we are within the transition period. The law has been passed about 2 months ago, and so the issue of putting all other things in place, we have to find office location for the new office of the Registrar of Companies. We have to also streamline the forms. We have to update the system to take the new requirements and all that. So a number of things will have to take place, and that's why the 2-year time frame has been set for us to be able to put ourselves together.
For Joy Business, Sheila Tamaklo reporting.
And that's all in the first segment of Business. There's more business after 8.